Hello, and welcome to Simulation Station. We're going to be doing something a little bit different than what we've done on the channel before. Recently picked up OOTP 23. I played OOTP 22 quite a bit, just on my own last year. So figured I've been watching quite a few people's playthroughs, other YouTube creators on OOTP 23, and I thought it looked like it could be kind of fun to do. So here we are. We're going to be doing our first playthrough with the Detroit Tigers. This is my team. This is the team that I watch on a daily basis. Figured it for our first series, doing this, it would be probably a little bit more enjoyable since I'm relatively familiar with the team. And yeah, let's look at the team a little bit and get into this. So we're on the Meet the Team page. A few acquisitions that Al Avila had made prior to us becoming the general manager. Erod picked him up, $15 million salary over 5 years, I believe. Javier Baez, El Mago, picked him up on a $20 million salary. I believe he has a option. Let's see. He has an option year and after 2 years, yeah. So we'll see if he opts out after that. Erod also has that, which I wasn't actually aware of seeing that. So yeah, so we do have some large salaries. Obviously, Miguel Cabrera's is the most notable, with 4 more years left on his contract with team option in the last year. Real life, he's hitting pretty well this year. So we'll see how he does in our little baseball universe. Another pickup was Tucker Barnhart, just on a 1-year deal. Will be interesting to see how he does this season. Not a switch hitter here like he is, but he's a really good defensive catcher, which is great. He won the Gold Glove in 2020? Yeah, an all Gold Glove, and in 2017. So obviously, a solid starting catcher there for us. Chafin, another pickup we got this off season. Good, solid bullpen guy. Pineda, 1-year deal. And then kind of just the holdovers from years past with Candy and Grossman. Fulmer in his last year. I like Fulmer. We'll see how he kind of pans out for us this year. Obviously, didn't really work out in the starting rotation over the last few years, but last year he kind of had his first full year as a reliever, so got quite a few saves. So it'll be interesting to see if Soto stays in the closer role, if Fulmer takes that over. But yeah, and then we got Austin Meadows in the trade for what it was, Isaac Paredes. So heck of a deal in my opinion to get Austin Meadows. Got a great bat, solid left fielder. So only 26 years old and in his arbitration years. So definitely somebody to keep an eye on. Somebody that I would be definitely willing to keep around. Especially looking at his performance last year with 27 home runs, 106 RBIs. He's got an OPS plus of 110 and a 2 WAR. So yeah, we'll see how he does in Comerica, the bigger park than what he was in Tampa. Any other notable guys to kind of take a look at? We got Torkelson, obviously. Going to be probably our starting first baseman to start the year. Solid first base. Can play a little bit of third, and then obviously the potential to be a relatively decent left fielder and right fielder. So his adaptability is pretty low though, so that might take some time to train him up there. But for now, I think he's going to be our mainstay at first base. Really good bat potential, obviously. See how he continues to develop. 5-star potential guy. So yeah. So other than that, that's kind of the 40-man roster going into spring training. I don't believe that I'm going to be doing a whole lot of changes, if at all, to this roster. Kind of just want to see how things shake out moving into the season with this team, and then probably make our moves as needed. Here we are back on our finances page. Looking here, it looks like we don't have any money for extensions or free agents, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what kind of contracts we could maybe possibly move to kind of free up some space if needed. I'm kind of hoping this team does relatively well, as I thought they would in real life coming into this season. I thought we would be fighting for at least a second place spot in the division, with the White Sox pretty much have the division locked up, in my opinion. But obviously things change, and we are not doing so well in real life, and the Twins, I believe, are in first as of today. But hopefully things are a little bit different in our simulation universe. So we got $4 million putting towards scouting budget, which isn't really a whole lot, and then $6 million towards development, which I'm okay with, because I think we have a pretty solid minor league system as of right now. We also reduced our ticket prices to $15 instead of $16 to kind of hopefully get some more attendance in there. Our goal for this year is relatively easy. Just don't suck, which, yeah, I'm on board with. So, and then long term, he wants us to be a playoff team by 2027, which I do believe is very doable with some of the young guys that we have in the organization and on our team right now. Going over the proposed lineups, starting lineup as of today, before even starting spring training. I do have it to GM only mode, just to kind of keep some division between myself and the manager, kind of give the manager role actual purpose. So Hinch is going to be setting the lineups himself, and we're just going to be kind of going with how he wants to do it. So as of right now, he's got Jonathan Scope not in there as our starting second baseman. He's got Willie Castro starting at second base, which is very interesting in my opinion. Not exactly sure why that is, but like I said, we are letting Hinch set the lineups as he pleases. So let's see if we can do that and see if anything changes. It doesn't look like it is. Oh, well, he's got Scope in there against lefties, so at least Scope's going to get some run. But Torkelson hitting third is an interesting choice for the young guy. But hey, maybe he'll prove to do well in the middle of the lineup. So yeah, here we go. I'm gonna kind of sim through the first. I'm gonna sim through spring training and see how things go. Hopefully, we have a limited amount of injuries. It would be very nice to go into the season with a healthy roster, a relatively healthy roster. Speaking of injuries, let's go and look at the injured list that we have right now. Funkhauser out for 4 weeks still. Pineda, he's going to be out for the spring training. Turnbull is going to be out for the season, most likely. Rogers out for most of the season. Riley Green, unfortunately, is going to be out for a while with a fractured foot. Derek Hill for a few weeks, and Chafin. So there's some pretty notable names with Chafin and Cisnero, Funkhauser, and Pineda not beginning this season with us. So yeah, let's sim spring training and see how it goes. So here we are, the day of opening day. We got our personal message from Christopher Illich, our owner, just kind of reinforcing his goal for us is just to stay respectful in the field. So and reach the playoffs within the next 5 seasons. So some pretty easy or lenient goals for us, at least. I guess easy looking at it. We should be able to make it work, but yeah. As for now, let's look at the top 100 prospects, and we got Torkelson and Green both sitting there at 4 and 5, so that's pretty good for us. Obviously, 2 cornerstone guys that we can be looking to build our future around, as well as hopefully guys like Mize and Skubal and Manning. One thing to note before starting through the simulation is that Robbie Grossman is just day to day with dehydration. It looks like didn't drink enough water in the off season and through spring training to make the opening day lineup. Feeling dehydrated, so that's just one thing I wanted to note before getting into it. But other than that, we don't have any major sustaining injuries. I did want to go back and note that we did not actually start at the beginning of spring training. I thought we did, but apparently we didn't, which is okay. But we started actually on April 4th or 3rd, so there was actually no games to actually play. So this will be our 40-man roster going into the start of the season. So that's okay. We're pretty much full force. Besides obviously the missing some of those key pieces. So just to go over the pitching rotation, which we haven't really looked at much, been mainly focusing on the lineups. We got Erod as our opening day starter. Casey Mize, 24-year-old, pretty decent pitcher. He's got some potential. Obviously, last year with a 3.7 ERA, over 30 games started, so he did well in his first full season as a Tiger, pretty much, I would say. So he's got a 1 WAR. So we got Mize, we got Skubal, good strikeout pitcher, really good fastball, as you can see. Not much movement, which is not ideal, but 25 years old, promising guy, 5 very solid pitches to work with. So I'm looking to see how Scooble does this year, as well as Matt Manning, 24-year-old, 70 overall positional player, 4 good pitches, solid stamina. So stuff isn't really as where you'd expect it to be, but he's got some pretty good movement and some average control. So, and then to start the season, we're going to be letting Tyler Alexander as our starter because of the injury to Pineda. So, unfortunately, he's pretty unhappy right now. He wants to be in the starting rotation, which he's getting a shot at. So, let's see if he can capitalize on that. And hopefully he proves us wrong or the past manager or past GM for manager GM combo for keeping him as a bullpen player. But that's where I do expect him to be most of the time in the coming season. When Pineda comes back, I'm sure he will be the one to be moving into a more long relief role. So, let's see. Our bullpen, we got Michael Fulmer, who's actually going to be our closer to start the season, it looks like, with Gregory Soto being our left-handed specialist kind of thing. Interesting thing to do to Soto, with him being a pretty solid closer for us last year. So obviously you can see 18 saves. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we got to leave it up to Hinch. Yeah, we hired him, we paid him the big bucks for a reason. So Lange and Foley as our setup guys. Yeah. So all right, let's get into this, and I'll catch you at a point of relevancy. So before I could start simulating, I have to actually trim down our roster. So I did just demote Daz Cameron to AAA, with a relatively decent amount of outfielders in our lineup, including Willie Castro, who could play left field. I felt it was better that he get time down in AAA. Want Badu to get his hacks in, as well as Victor Reyes, a guy that has good contact and gap power, and a relatively decent outfielder. So he's a guy that could be good for us. And obviously, over the last few seasons, he's been relatively, I don't know, average, I guess, with a solid actual batting average in his first few years with the team. But pretty low WAR, but he's still above replacement level. So it'll be good to get him in there. There's just some guys that I'd rather have in there. So thinking about it, Eric Haas. Eric Haas. Am I just missing? Garneau Barnhart. I might just be missing something, but so we found Eric Haas. He actually wasn't even on the 40-man roster. So I added him to the 40-man, but I still can't promote him to the majors. So that's interesting. We'll try and sim a day or two and see if we can do it then. But we need to get our 40-man, our starting day roster in order. So we are going to be demoting Ramon Rosso to AAA, as well as Brian Garcia, as he's in a long relief role and he does not have the stamina right now to fill that role. So we're going to be doing that. And like I said, I had already demoted Daz Cameron as well. So with that being said, I am going to start simming and I will talk to you again soon. So it is April 23rd. Detroit Tigers are 6-8. 5 games back. Not terrible. Still hovering around 500. Obviously, it's still very early in the season. But Michael Pineda is ready to come off the injured list. So we have a decision to make with some demotions here. Drew Hutchinson's been actually solid, it looks like, through 13 innings, getting most of the run in our long relief role. So Alex Lange not doing very great. ERA plus of only 32, 13.5 ERA with only 4.2 innings pitched. Earned run average. Oh boy. Okay. So maybe we demote Lange. Give one of our other guys some more run in a different, or give him some more run down in the minors. See, sorry, I'm just kind of going over this. So what we're going to do instead is we're actually going to demote Alex Faedo. He hasn't pitched a single inning yet in the bigs so far. So let's give him some time down in AAA to actually throw the baseball. And we will move Pineda into the Major League Club. So let's see how he slots in. So yeah. So interesting enough, we're actually going to be, he's actually slotting in for Matt Manning, with Manning taking a setup role. This has got to be. I guess. Let's see how it goes. I would, boy, much rather have Tyler Alexander in there, but like I said, we're gonna let Hinch do his thing, and who knows what how Manning as in a setup role will end up. So I'm gonna get back to simming, and I will catch up with you shortly. So with the first month of the season coming to an end, we are 9-12, 7.5 games back of the White Sox, which is to be expected. Honestly, how this division is shaping up is relatively what I expected. I didn't expect the Twins to be doing as well as they are, but the Twins in real life are actually doing very well. So I guess OOTP is just staying with the real life a little bit there. So anyway, so we need to cut down our roster from 28 to 26. That's one thing that I did keep on, is the shortened spring training rule where they were allowed 28 through the first month. Willie Castro is not doing great, as you can see. So as you can see, our team isn't doing the best in terms of hitting. So I've kind of made my decisions on the two guys that I would like to send down, and it was between Willie Castro and Harold Castro, both hitting 133. Obviously, Willie has some more innings played, but just a negative 11 OPS plus, and a 178 slugging, negative 0.5 WAR. I think he could benefit from some time in AAA, as well as we are going to be moving Jacob Barnes down. Negative 0.3 WAR. He's got relatively good Ks per 9, but just the 7 ERA, obviously he's not limiting runners when he needs to. I do see that Lange is also struggling, but we're gonna give him some time, like we did earlier in the season. We're gonna stick with him and see how he does with his 12.8 Ks per 9. I believe he can turn it around, but for now we're gonna be sending down Jacob Barnes. He's out of options. So that puts, I guess I didn't look at that, but that puts a wrinkle in things. So, yep, he's out of option years. So, I take back what I just said, and we are going to be moving down Lange. You can turn it around in AAA. There, Lange. But it's good to see that Mize is on a bit of a hot streak. Still have Alexander in the starting rotation. Has a 1-1 record. Just 0.1 over his WAR. So it is what it is with Alexander. He's still pretty unhappy, even though he's been in the starting rotation for a month now. So I don't know. I guess if he doesn't feel like he is happy with the team, maybe he's a guy that we look to move at the trade deadline. But before we keep simming into the month of May, I did take a look at Eric Haas. He is playing very well at AAA, as he should. He's a guy that I really would like to have on the big league roster. I mean, he's hitting 340 with 14 games played, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, OPS of over 1,000, or over 1, OPS plus of 162. So he's obviously playing well above the level, and it seems like it would be a relatively easy choice for us. But looking at Dustin Garneau, he also is playing well. He's only played 5 games throughout the month, so that's kind of one thing that I'm thinking about could be the difference. But I mean, 3 home runs over 5 games, 5 RBIs hitting 462 as well. 34 years old. He obviously doesn't have any more option years. So if we were to kind of demote him, we would have to waive him or DFA him. So with how he's playing, I think we're going to keep him. To me, it also doesn't make sense to run 3 catchers. I don't really. I mean, Eric Haas can play left field a little bit, but he's not. Obviously, his main position is going to be catcher. He's a better left fielder than he is a catcher, but still. So that would obviously help the team a little bit compared to Garneau's just one positionedness. And Haas obviously has some pretty good home runs. But for now, we're going to leave it how it is. But yeah, it's something to keep an eye on for now. One day into our simulation of the month of May, we've got a message saying that Derek Hill is ready to come off the bell. Looking a little bit at our team and the outfielders that we have right now, I don't see a spot for him. Obviously, with the big year that Baду had last year and the potential that he has as a player, I would rather keep him where he is right now. He's not. I mean, he's pretty much right at the Mendoza line, but yeah, he's one that I want to keep up. Victor Reyes is playing well, and obviously, you play well, you're going to stay. So we're gonna keep. We're gonna move Derek Hill into down to AAA for now. Other guys that are coming off the IL at the same exact time is going to be Funkhauser and Chafin. So we're also going to kind of figure out a spot for them. I'm going to kind of look through the team a little bit, really dive through some numbers, see what we can do there. Nothing really pops out to me besides Soto's 18 ERA and only 2 innings pitched. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Soto needs to be used way more than he is. But again, we're trusting the manager. And yeah, let me dive through the numbers and I will get back to you with what I decide. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to send Funkhauser on a rehab assignment to the minors for now. Just to kind of give us a little bit more time. Obviously, Chafin, we want with us. He's one of our bigger signings in the off season. So, with that being said, we are going to option Manning to AAA. I want him to stay in the rotation. Hopefully, Lloyd McClendon, the manager of the Toledo Munheads, decides to put him in the rotation, which I mean, sure he will. And then we're going to move Chafin to rotation. So with that being said, let's update these and see how things set up. So we have Chafin in there as a setup role, along with Jason Foley. Let's go down to AAA and kind of see how things go. So Manning slotted right in to the number 1 spot, which I expected. As well as Funkhauser. Funkhauser's going to be taking a starting spot, which I'm okay with. Funkhauser was a starter, was projected to be a starter throughout his minor league career, and I am okay to see how he kind of continues to do, even though in real life he's kind of been more of a bullpen guy. So we'll let Funkhauser do his have some rehab time here as a starter. If anything, he's stretched out a bit, and he can be our slot into a long relief role. So it is about halfway through the month of May. We're sitting at 16-19. Harold Castro has just torn his thumb ligaments, so he's projected to be out for 2 weeks. So we are going to put him on the injured list, the 10-day for now. And now we have a decision to make of who we can bring up. One thing I kind of did forget to mention earlier is that for now I have Al Avila, the assistant GM, in charge of promotions and demotions for the most part in the minor leagues tiers. So the minor leagues are kind of being run by him. I am paying attention to them, but my main focus right now is on the big league club. So with that being said, one thing I found interesting is that Willie Castro is not in the starting lineup anywhere in AAA. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I would like Willie to get some more time in, but again, the minor leagues are kind of not where my focus is right now. Lloyd McClendon, AAA manager, and Al Avila are taking care of that. Yeah, we'll see how we'll see how that kind of shapes out. He has only gotten 4 games through 14 days of the month of May, so we'll see. But he is hitting a 308 clip on base, not average. So yeah, we'll see. But for now, I think I'm looking at Zach Short. He did spend some time with us last season. For 61 games, only actually hit 141. But this season he's hitting 266, 7 home runs, 20 RBIs. So Zach Short's doing pretty well at the AAA level, which with us moving Zach Short up, that's going to open a spot possibly for Willie Castro. So let's see what happens here. So Willie is now the starting second baseman, AAA. I guess I can't blame Lloyd because Zach was playing pretty well. Although Ryan Kreidler's kind of taken a step back this season in terms of average. He's still hitting for power a little bit and still hitting his RBIs. But in terms of his average, he's not where he was this season. He is a guy that we'll keep our eye on as somebody that can play at the big league level. Do a little bit more of an update here. Derek Hill playing very well at AAA, so keep an eye on that as well. And Eric Haas is still tearing it up at the AAA level. Wish we could find somewhere for him to play. I really do, but unless an injury happens or something, I think for now he's going to be staying at AAA with Dustin Garneau playing very well at the age of 34. Just one day after our last update, Rony Garcia is on the 15-day IL, a strained thumb I believe. So this is going to be our opportunity to bring Funkhauser up. Obviously, he's not been the best through 2 starts, or how many starts, I guess. 2 starts. He hasn't been the best, but he's on a rehab. We're going to put our faith in that he just needs some time. But this is our opportunity to get him back into the big league club. So with him gone, Nolan Blackwood slots back into the starting rotation. One more quick notable update on the day of May 16th, another day after our last update. Jose Cisnero suffered a setback, and he will be out for the next 7 weeks. So we've come to a screeching halt on the day of May 20th. We've been offered a trade by the Houston Astros, where we would receive Jake Myers in exchange for Harold Castro, Carlos Irigoyen, and Tanner Kolip. Carlos and Tanner are both guys that are just in Lakeland. And Tanner is not even... He's just in the Florida League for now, at 22 years old. So, kind of 2 irrelevant guys with looking at it within the organization. Carlos doesn't seem to be anybody that's going to contribute at the major league level. So we're kind of looking at this trade as more of Jake Myers for Harold Castro. Harold Castro, the guy that's out right now. He's kind of a guy that can do a lot of different things for us, which is great, and has been over the last few years. Always seems to bring the bat, but he's 28 years old. He's projected to make about 1.5 million next year. Let's see. In arbitration. Let's see. Oh, Castro, there you go. So he's going to be in his arbitration years next year, and I just don't see Harold as a guy that is worth paying that money to as of right now, especially with some guys like Kreidler and Willie Castro, who I still have some hope for. We got some other guys such as Isaac Pacheco in our minor league system, as well as Gage Workman and Wenzel Perez. Obviously, these guys are a little bit away still, but we have guys that can fill that role, and I really like the makeup of Jake Myers. He's got some pretty good potential. He is 25 years old, but he only has 108 days of service time, so not even a full year. So we'll have 3 years of him before he even starts arbitration. Could be a outstanding left fielder. Got really good range, great base running, stealing. Could be really dynamic for us at the top of our lineup, possibly with some home run pop to be projected. So, and he's hitting the ball. He was hitting the ball in 2021 at AAA. He spent some time at the bigs, hitting 6 home runs in 28 RBIs with 163 plate appearances. He's spent his time in AAA so far this season. Believe he just came off an injury. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's a guy that I think could be a really solid player for us in the coming years. But the issue is that we have a pretty I don't want to say stacked line outfield because I don't really believe it's stacked, but we have guys that are in line to play, that we want to give time to, with Meadows being a new acquisition, and like I said earlier, a guy that we could really build around, with Torkelson, Meadows, Riley Green if he comes up and performs well, Badu, another young guy that played really well last year and is actually playing pretty well this year. He's been over the last few games he's been leading off for us, so he's been a good leadoff player for us with 5 stolen bags. So Grossman has actually not been playing. He's not in the starting lineup anywhere because Victor Reyes has been playing so well. So he's pretty unhappy. Victor Reyes is another guy, 27 years old, that has potential still. I mean, 27 years old is still relatively young, I guess. You're starting to get to the point where you need to be putting out good numbers as a major league player, but he's doing that this season. So this is a tough one. Obviously, 2 more years of arbitration for Victor Reyes. Gonna keep going up. With Riley Green on the come up, if we get Jake Myers, Victor Reyes could be a guy that we move on from in the offseason and via trade. Robbie Grossman, a guy that hasn't really played as well as we'd hoped this season, but he's sticking around his average that he usually hits. He's a good leader. He's a fan favorite. So that's why it'd be kind of hard to get rid of him, but he's just not playing. He's unhappy. He's not in the starting lineup. So, I don't know. I think we might pull the trigger on Jake Myers. Keep him down or let him spend some time at AAA for us. See how things go there. And then, yeah, we'll kind of play out the rest of the season. The unfortunate part is that Jack Sort's not playing very well. He is starting because apparently Hinch just doesn't enjoy Jonathan Scope in the starting lineup. So he only has 4 games started, but he's not performing very well in those 4 games. But it is what it is. So he does have a home run and an RBI in 4 games. All right, so next time I check in, you'll know the answer of what we decided to do. So it is the 1st of June. We are sitting at 23 and 29. We did accept that trade with Houston Astros for Jake Myers, who slotted in right away at the 3-4 hole, hit 234 with no home runs so far for us, but 6 RBIs. So we'll give him some time, but I still really like the deal. I think he is a guy that could be a really solid player for us in the coming years. So for now, yeah, I like where he's at. Eric Haas is still playing pretty well, not as hot as he was at the beginning of the season. but still a very solid bat in AAA. And Garneau's dropped off a little bit. So if that kind of continues, we're going to try and make that move for Eric Haas to be up FA. Garneau, just 34 years old, like I said before. I'd rather have a guy in there that's a little bit younger and that could give us some more years. So, yeah, we're definitely below where we want to be, but we're still sitting third in the league. We aren't completely out of everything yet, but we're definitely we got a ways to go if we're gonna turn it around. So that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this. It's quite different than what the channel has produced in the past, but as a fan of simulation games, I kind of wanted to freshen up the channel a bit. So I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.